Good evening, welcome to a TOGA Motorsport production of the Formula GT Racing League. You will need to excuse my voice, it's still knackered. Evening Lyric, evening Charlie, and evening Kieran. I'll call you by your correct name, all on YouTube. We're live on YouTube and Twitch this evening for the penultimate round of Formula GT Racing Leagues, or I'm going to just call them FGTRL. There we go. Let me know how the audio is and how the video is. Make sure everyone's tickety-boo. So we are back in Italy. Now, we've already been to... Oh, I was about to say Monza, and then I suddenly thought, I don't think it actually is. Bear with me a second. We are penultimate round anyway, and we're back in Italy for Misano at night. It is 9:52 on track PM. I will get to the standings in a minute, just as the drivers take the cars out to get the tyres slowly warmed up. I say slowly because that track is still 26 degrees at almost 10 PM. And these GT2 cars love to eat them. So it was Imola was our last Italian race. Next week we have the Red Bull Ring, which will be awesome. Love the Red Bull Ring. Let's have a quick look at the driver standings, as we have a 10 car grid at the moment. And I'd say it's quite close. It's quite close. Charlie blamed Michael for the weather and time of the day. Blame him for everything, Triple X. So, driver standings. We have Robert Bjorkman in first position with 1,020 points. Luke Wilson in P2 with 990. Kieran Macy P3 with 810. Olav Nahim with 760 in P4, Zita in P5 with 660, Finlay O'Reilly in P6 with 650. Did I say Zita was 650? 660 for Zita, 650 for Finlay. Connie Aaron or Arun, is 560 points in P7. Michael Pokemonde is in P8 with 530. Roland Stein is in P9 with 450, and Josh Collett rounds off the top 10 with 440. You will see Josh and Zeta have pulled out of the championship, so that does leave space for people to get further up, and we see that Kevin Pikiri is racing tonight, so Kevin could very well pop himself into the top 10. So that's the standings at the moment. We're just getting some lap times coming in now. So we've got Robert Bjorkman, who is sitting with a 135.2 at this point in time. Luke Wilson, 9/10ths back. These will all come down. They've got 20 minutes, or they did have 20 minutes now, with 15 minutes left of the session to try and get into that P1 position. And as usual, race control is just being race control. So we're following Luke Wilson. It's nice to see Misano at night, I have to say. It is a nice change. Charlie, at least it's not flooded conditions like last week at Hungaroring. I did hear it was a little bit canoe-like. Pardon me, Samuel Brackstad in at P3 with a 1.1 second off of the fastest lap at the moment. Kieran Macy P4 and O'Reilly in P5. This will all change. I anticipate we do see a slight change in temperature, but I cannot see it being a huge difference. Misano at best of times, especially during the day, is just like a cooker top. It is just so warm, and track limits really play a part in this race and any race that goes on. We see a car already off in the grass just waiting for Luke to go past. Now, can Luke put in a better lap? He is almost 5/10ths. A lot of wiggle as he comes out of the last corner. 6.5 now. I think that was an invalid lap actually. So Robert Bjorkman is almost 5/10ths up on his previous best. It is a valid lap at the moment. All drivers in VC are complaining about tyre temps and wear already. Wow. And he's G2 only 7 minutes in. I mean, they've only got 45 minutes of a race. I mean, I really don't know what they're complaining about. I think it's going to be a real struggle. I really do. I really think it's the struggle of tyres. GT2 cars chew through the tyres. They're not mechanically or aerodynamically as technical as their GT3 and GT4 sister cars. So they tend to slide more. They tend to wear the tyres more. As you can see, they're drifting around the corner, applying throttle, and the basics of traction control kicking in, but yeah, these cars are completely just a different level altogether when it comes to racing. So Mr. Bjorkman has popped in an even faster time now. In fact, I don't know what's going on with race control. Is having a meltdown at the moment. So Luke Wilson looks like he is on a valid lap, and does indeed pop himself 1.5 tenths behind Robert Bjorkman at the moment. Next person to improve is Kevin Pikiri at the moment. Luke Wilson looking to try and gain some extra time. Pikiri is about 2/10ths quicker at the moment, but yeah, he's gaining that back. He lost a lot of time, but he's gaining that back now. If he can get up to even if he gets half a second, that would pop him right into contention. At the moment, Robert Bjorkman and Luke Wilson are streets ahead. Samuel Braxard, we know, is a quick driver. He's 1.8 seconds behind. Charlie, if drivers were to use a tyre swap in the race, here would be ideal. It would, absolutely would. So there is a mandatory pit stop. Is it fuel and tyres, Charlie? But there's no limit, so it can be a splash and dash fuel-wise. Some drivers prefer that. Some drivers prefer to go half and half. Fuel only. Okay. So if they choose, so a splash and dash, and let's not forget the exit for the pit is quite long. So a splash and dash without tyres is a brave move, but to get tyres on is a minimum 30 second pit stop. So what are the drivers going to do tonight? What are they going to do? You can see the exhaust tips absolutely glowing on the back of that Maserati. 2 Maseratis, a Porsche, and then another Maserati in the top 4. And Samuel Brackstad is improving. Unfortunately, commentator's curse is now losing all that time, but an amazing livery there for Samuel. Bjorkman and Pikiri back to the pits. The only one in the top 5 are Kieran Macy and Luke Wilson. Kieran is a 1 second up on his time at the moment. So Kieran in the Audi really pushing things and actually pops himself into P3, 1.4 seconds behind, but that was a huge lap for him to pop himself there. Samuel is back in the pits. What can he do? Is he changing anything in his setup? Is he looking to see what else he can do? As we look at Finlay O'Reilly at the moment in his Audi, trying to squeeze everything out. Oh, I'm going to suggest that was possibly track limits. If it wasn't, it was very, very close to it. Finlay is 4 seconds slower than his last time. Pocomandi in last, P7 and P8 are improving quite a bit. Last had taken about 6/10 off of his time. Pocomandi is almost 5/10 up at the moment. Unfortunately, neither will be able to prove they unfortunately need seconds in front of those tenths for it. So we'll have 11 altogether, and our very own Ches is in as well by the looks of it. Has he just disappeared off the timing screen? No, there he is. There he is, in the good old KTM for Tobes Esports. Bjorkman back out again, so Bjorkman not happy with the 1/10 that he's got ahead of Luke Wilson. He's out to try and get some more. Pocomandi is definitely pushing to try and get that KTM. You hear the tyres protesting as he comes round the corner. He's 5/10 up at the moment. It is going to improve his time and slots him up into P7, forcing Finlay O'Reilly down into P8. Last still is on a bit of a flyer, 5/10 up yet again. Again, the exhaust tips just below the rear lights there. Misano, the engines and the tyres very rarely get any kind of reprieve or rest in the lap at all. Possibly first sector is where it's going to get the most amount of saving, but at the same time, you know, you're driving these cars as fast as you can round corners. The tyres are going to be absolutely used and abused from that point of view. Seeing Kieran Macy is up, but he's got an invalid lap. Naheem pops himself up into P3 now, 1.2 seconds behind Luke Wilson in P2. It's a great lap from Naheem to get him up into P3. Pokemandi still in a charge, but he's just invalidated his lap. Last, who we are watching at the moment, is almost 2.5 tenths up, 4 seconds off the lead. Can he make his time a little bit closer to P9 Concalves? Hopefully I've said that right. As Ches has got I think Ches has just come out the pits possibly, or he's just invalidated. Just waiting to see. The interesting thing, Bjorkman is the fastest in Sector 1, Sector 3, but Sector 2, Luke Wilson actually has the fastest time, only by less than 1/10. Oh, yeah, that was a little bit wrong place, wrong time there. I don't know if that was maybe Ches that was there, but I've done that myself. I did that in the first round of the GT World Tour for Toga, and I parked it in a terrible place on the racing line. I wasn't even thinking, to be fair. I was having a terrible race. Christian Andreasen, who the co-owner of BRT, was in P1. He came round the corner, and there I was in the middle of his racing line, stopped, thinking I was out of his way. He then had to try and take avoiding action and spun, so I did apologise, but sometimes your brain doesn't let you work out what the best plan is. But yeah, so everybody back out apart from Naheem, Pakiri and Concalves, who is still in. You can see Last is basically given up at the moment by the looks of it. I don't know if he's going to RTG just now. Pokemandi is up on his previous lap. He's 3/10 faster, which would actually improve him up into P6. So he'd leapfrog Kevin Pakiri if he can keep this together. Almost 5/10 now. He has found some time on the last sector as he comes over the line. Pokemandi up to P6 and sending Kevin Pakiri down into P7. Bjorkman is slightly faster. He's 1/10 faster. Brackstad 1/10 faster. Those seem to be the only ones. My apologies. Finlay O'Reilly is 7/10 up at the moment. He's going to pop himself into P6. This P6 position has been hotly contested between 3 or 4 drivers. Riley, Pokemandi and Pakiri all vying for that. Very, very close in terms of time. Samuel Brackstad looking as if he needs to basically, he's 2/10 up at the moment. He really needs 4/10 to pip Kieran Macy into P4. Again, Bjorkman and Wilson not able to improve their times. I think they've maybe done the best they can with the time, the pressure, the tyre pressures, the heat and everything else that goes along with what GT2 racing is all about. Macy, Pakiri and Last all in the pits, everybody else out. Samuel Brackstad looking good at the moment, 4/10 up as he finishes a final sector, the final complex here, as he just tries to slide that car over, keep within track limits. He is going to be about 4.5 up. He moves up into P4. Kieran Macy has been up and down this grid almost as much as someone on a pogo stick. Sorry, that was a terrible joke. I just went with it. You know when you get a joke, it's something in your head and I'm just going to go with it. But that's a good drive from Samuel Brackstad, the only Porsche driver on the grid, and we know from TOGA Motorsport he is very, very fast in a Porsche altogether. He is still improving a little bit. He needs 2/10 now to try and leapfrog Naheem, who's in P3. Bjorkman bouncing round about his lap time at the moment. Luke Wilson with an invalid lap. Naheem with an invalid lap. O'Reilly, Pokemandi and Concalves all with invalid laps. Pokemandi and Concalves look like they've just come out of the pits, so we'll give them a break. But Ches is 5/10 up. He needs to find a little bit more time if he can 1.5 minutes left. If they haven't already, thank you very much, FGTRL. It's very kind of you for the follow over on Twitch. Appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. If you're on Twitch, hit that follow button. It'll be much appreciated. You can also become a member on YouTube, and you can also subscribe on Twitch as well. Down into the last minute, and Samuel Braxad has had enough. He's going to park the car. Let's have a look at Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson still in a charge, and if he kept that time going, he would pip Bjorkman for P1. He needs to find 1.5 tenths in this lap. Just looking a little bit on edge. Maybe have this as a better view as he comes down. So some of the parts of the track are lit, which is fine, but unfortunately you can see the dark parts. When you're going from light to dark, it takes time for your eyes to adjust, which can cause you issues if it's your brake point, or whether it's your turn-in point, whatever it is. At the moment, Luke Wilson, yeah, he's unfortunately lost 2 tenths now. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to gain that back as the clock has finished. It'll be enough time for everyone to finish their lap that they're on. Only one person improving at the moment, and that's Finlay O'Reilly in P6. He really needs to find 4 tenths to try and bring Kieran Macy back down to P6 where he was earlier on. But certainly really good times coming in, especially for GT2 night time as well. Yeah, that's one way to park it. So it looks like, apart from Pokemandi has, yeah, I'm not quite sure what Pokemandi's doing. He just needs to RTG. So your full grid lineup will be as follows: Bjorkman P1, Luke Wilson P2, Naheem P3, Samuel Braxad P4, Kieran Macy P5, Finlay O'Reilly P6, Pokemandi P7, Pikiri P8, Concalves P9, last P10, and our Ches in P11. That is your grid for this evening's GT2 race at Misano. I'm going to take a very short break just to get some liquids, speak nicely to my throat, and we'll be ready to go with a 45-minute race with one mandatory pit stop, and it's fuel only. So will we be seeing splash and dash, or will we be seeing people... Your wheel fell off. Oh my god, that's a horrible thought. I hope it's not damaged or anything, Lyric. Yeah, it's fine. I was actually only saying that to say something. I wasn't having a go or anything. But yeah, good luck, Lyric. Hopefully you get that all fixed and ready to go. So 3.5 minute wait on the grid, and the penalties are coming in 5 seconds. I'm not seeing them showing up. I don't know if they're... I don't quite know what the penalties were for, or if they've even been applied. Well, there we go. So 15 seconds for Bjorkman, 10 seconds for Luke Wilson, and 20 seconds. So this is the... I thought these might be the timing penalties in terms of being very quick. Success penalties, yeah, thank you. Ah, right, okay, so Samuel Braxtad gets a penalty from the weekend's race. and Bjorkman and Wilson have got success penalties to serve, which they'll serve at their pit stop. So that might factor into whether they do go for a splash and dash, or if they go for the half and half, or whatever it is they find the best. Lyric, sadly you can't see my Red Bull livery. I don't know if that's all flashing their lights. I did think awesome, but I don't know if I've got the collection or not. Like Samuel's will be showing up possibly because his has been uploaded with Toga, or uploaded into the Toga collection. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they are off for their formation lap, so one entire lap round for this. There is, if Charlie will correct me if I'm wrong, one red flag situation. So if 20% of right, okay, no problem, Charlie. If the 20% of the grid crash out, then there'll be a red flag. They'll return to garage, and then the formation lap will restart from the qualifying positions. And if the same thing happens, then it's unfortunately something they just need to deal with. Luke Wilson absolutely burning his tyres out. I'm not sure. I mean, 3.5 minutes is a long time for these cars to be sitting on the grid, so the tyres will be cold, brakes will be cold, and they are going to have to try and heat them up before the first round of corners, which comes up very, very quickly from the start finish line. And hopefully we don't see a repeat of Rookie Wednesday Split 1 Race 1 last week, where the top four ended up so far ahead of the rest of the grid they got drive-through penalties. As you can see, Bjorkman just in a little need for speed slide there, just to try and get the tyres warmed up. You can see him weaving, trying to get heat into the front tyres. And obviously once the brakes are up to temperature, I mean, it's not going to take long for these tyres to heat up. Let's be honest. It's overcast, but it's still 27 degrees on track and in air. So the engines, the tyres, the brakes are all sucking in very, very hot air, which is exactly the opposite of what you want a performance car to be doing. You want some nice cool air getting sucked into the engine, and cool air being blown over the brakes. But they're just starting to come into the last section of the complex, getting it all lined up in their starting orders for the qualifying positions. They'll then reach the 70km/h speed limit, as you can see now, as they come into the last 2 or 3 corners, ready to go. So let's go on board with Bjorkman as he comes round that last corner. You will see the red lights along the top of the gantry waiting for them to change. All sticking to 70km/h. Use too much speed and you will get penalised by the game itself. So waiting on the lights changing. We are green, we are racing, and they're off. Looks like somebody was slightly out of position. The game hasn't penalised them for that. Samuel Brackstad getting some close views of an Audi right behind him. Looks like he's getting challenged for P3 at the moment from Naheem. In fact, Brackstad's challenging for P3 from Naheem, but they're still almost in formation. As we see again, you can see the times, but Bjorkman already moving out of the way to avoid giving Wilson any kind of aerodynamic tow down that straight. And this is where, oh, there's been contact. There has been contact. I've just seen Samuel Brackstad going back. Let's have a look and see what happened here. Brackstad being quite careful as he gets out onto the straight, trying to hang on to the back of that Maserati, but you can see the Audi behind him, and Brackstad having to go defensive already as he brakes. Oh, Samuel just out brakes himself and then is collected within the Audi as well. Oh, some good avoiding action there from Ches at the back, but that's what happened. Samuel outbraked himself. But these two are absolutely battling. It actually looks like they were either side by side, or Wilson had actually got past Bjorkman as they come to the end of the first lap. Nothing between these two at all, but you can see that the grid is starting to stretch out now. Oh, and look, Wilson getting very, very close there. It looks like he has a preferred line that's maybe different to Bjorkman, but try not to let the car oversteer as they come down to this tight section of right-handers before you then need to switch over to the left hand and get a decent drive out. It's what Bjorkman's got. Looks like Wilson maybe slightly over the track limits. Whether that'll be a cut warning, not sure at the moment. But definitely a good drive out of that corner for Bjorkman. It looks like Samuel Brackstad's very, very close to Pocamandi as well, trying to get past that KTM with the Porsche. You can see him closing up. Has he got enough power, enough drive out of here? He's very, very close at the moment. View on board with Samuel, and that looks like he definitely does have the tow going down here. KTM moving out. Just manages to keep his foot in there. Doesn't give Samuel any opportunity to actually get past him. This looks like it could be a pressure. Not sure what's going on here. Let's have a look back and see what happened. Ches behind the Audi of O'Reilly. O'Reilly well off course, and Ches slowing down to allow O'Reilly back on, seeing that the runoff area is it was narrowing down. So the gap between Bjorkman and Wilson, 1 second. Again, Samuel still behind Pocamandi and the KTM at the moment. And a slightly more stretched out fight behind, with O'Reilly, Ches, Pikiri and last. Wow, that was... looks like Ches absolutely got out of that completely. But that has allowed O'Reilly pass. In fact, sorry, not O'Reilly. That has allowed Pikiri past. As you can see, the three of these all tightly battling. And again, Ches slightly heavy with the brakes there, and ends up losing position to last as well from that. Kieran Macy 7/10 behind Naheem at the moment. This is a fight for P3. It's Maserati versus Audi. Who is going to blink first? Who's going to change or adapt to what they're seeing ahead of them? Now, in terms of performance, these cars are almost road legal cars. They're very, very powerful engines. You're talking about 700 brake horsepower engines. But in terms of aerodynamics, they have very little. What they have on them is more cosmetic, which is why they are almost legal road cars. GT4 has a little bit more aerodynamic grip, but nothing compared to the GT3s, which have mechanical, aerodynamic. They have everything that is attached to the car is there for a reason. Into the tight section. Oh, Macy goes wide. This is an opportunity. Macy takes position from Naheem there. I was getting my my drivers mixed up, but that that was a critical error. But you can see that Maserati again catching up just on the exit, but the Audi able to stretch its legs out and Kieran up into P3 at the moment, and already leaving a 6/10 of a gap. You can see the gap from them to then Pocomandi, 6 seconds. Brackstad still not able to get past Pocomandi, and has in fact dropped back 1.7 seconds to that. So yeah, this is hotly contested. Naheem coming right back at that Audi. This is his best opportunity to try and get tucked in under the wing, showing himself on the mirrors of the Audi, and it actually does help because it's forced Macy into an error. Under braking again. So again, these cars are not the same as GT3 cars, with the brakes going wide again for Macy as the two of them are almost side by side coming down the back straight. Maserati right under the wing of the Audi at the moment, just looking to put Macy under pressure and see what happens. This is round about where Naheem made the error in the last race, in the last lap, but both through very, very neatly this time. But look how close it is. Naheem right on the back bumper, not letting anything go at the moment. There's only 2/10 between these two drivers, and again under braking it looks like Maserati has better braking, but we just watch as the Audi matches a Maserati in every way, shape and form for power. Different lines there, and it looks like Naheem had a much better line, but he has lots of oversteer as he comes off the curbs and through the corner, so that's cost him ever so slightly. Unsettled the car, and again he needs to reset. He needs to try and pick his time. He'll be analysing Macy's driving in every way, shape and form. The different lines getting taken into the corners that Naheem would do differently. Maybe give him an opportunity to force an error or get past under an overtaking position. Samuel Brackstad has brought the gap to him and Pocomandi down to 4/10 now. Just have a look here. I don't know if Pocomandi had a bit of an error. He is now 7-8 seconds behind Naheem, so That gap has increased by 1.8 seconds in the last lap. Oh, and he goes really wide there, and Brackstad goes very, very, not defensive, but he knew that he had to allow Pokemandi room to get back on, so drivers really struggling with their brakes into the last fast sections. Naheem is side by side with Audi again. Look how, oh, this is so close. Naheem has absolutely done his homework on Macy here. You saw that he took an absolutely opposite line, and look, here we go, there's a squeeze. A little nudge there, but it's clean enough. Both drivers not looking to take each other out. They know that stewarding is live tonight as well, but they are now side by side. Who is going to blink first with braking? Maserati slightly ahead, but the Audi very defensive of Macy there. But does the Maserati then get the cut back? Doesn't look like it. Again, this isn't going anywhere. Pokemandi has got past Samuel Brackstad again. Again, I wonder if Sam had some kind of issue under braking there. But again, both drivers giving respectful distance to each other. They don't want to collide. They don't want to take each other out. They'll probably be quite enjoying this battle as we go back to Olav Naheem chasing down Kieran Macy. Kieran P3 at the moment, and yep, so kind of left the door open. He got a little bit unsettled under braking there, and I don't know if track limits was in his mind or not, but it looked like there was a little bit of indecisiveness. And again, these two drivers almost side by side going round the last two corners, but Naheem has made that pay. His studying his homework of Macy, but oh, Macy coming in real deep there, and you can see how effective different racing lines are. Last with a 5-second penalty to be added on for his pit stop. Also very, very close, as is this battle that we go back to Pokemandi and Samuel Brackstad. Again, different lines getting taken, but the Porsche looking more settled. It's looking more hooked up to the corners, and he has got an amazing drive out there. Samuel Brackstad right on the back of the KTM again, looking to take that draft all the way down, move out at the last minute under braking. Can he get that Porsche stopped in time? They're both side by side again, and it looks like Samuel Brackstad has made that count again. He needs to be defensive for this one, and it looks like a Pokemandi going for a more of a better drive out the corner, as he's so close between these two. Pokemandi is, look, it looks like, I can't even think how many times I've actually changed position here already, and we're only 15 minutes into the race. Both neat and tidy through the heavy braking into the hairpin, and you can see there's actually another car of Concalves who's looking to join this party as well. So Samuel all squirrely on throttle, trying to get every advantage he can out of that Porsche. For Samuel, it would be ideal if that 66 KTM came back into play and allowed him to drive off into the sunset as the two KTMs battle each other. It's a 3.2 second gap between Bjorkman and Wilson at the moment, both lapping very, very similar times. Bjorkman with the fastest lap, 134.8 at the moment. There is Charlie, absolutely. Piqueri's fighting with O'Reilly as well for P8, as it's Audi versus Maserati. O'Reilly on point at the moment with a very, very small gap, but it's enough that he doesn't need to worry about a dive down the inside or any collision at the moment, but he needs to get a good drive out of here. And it looks like Maserati's got a cleaner drive. He is much closer now. Maserati taking a different, oh no, O'Reilly going really wide there. That's almost cost him that position. Looks like the drivers are struggling either with tyres or brakes or both. There's a lot of overshooting on the brakes going on, and you can see they're actually braking a little bit earlier now, trying to get the car turned and tucked into the corners, onto the curbs, and keep it smooth. The last thing you want is track limits because your tyres or brakes have faded slightly. It's now a three-way battle. We do have here Concalves has just come into fighting position as Samuel Brackstad unable to make any gains away from Kieran Macy at the moment. Obviously Samuel in that Porsche is doing everything that he can, but the KTM just sneaking up on him now. He's almost signing his name in tyre marks on the grid there. He's absolutely holding nothing back from this race. He knows he needs to hit every apex and get every drive possible out as soon as he can. Again, the KTM so much better, and Sammy, I don't know if Sam kind of, I often got freaked out with the KTM just coming up so quickly behind him there. He just seemed to lose concentration. Or but look at the battle. Samuel trying to hold that Porsche on the racing line, and the KTM does get through. Samuel doesn't put too much of a fight on. But Sam coming back again. He's not for giving up here at all. Kieran Spun is now in front of Brackstad, so Naheem 9.5 seconds ahead of Kieran Macy, and Brackstad back through again. These two just cannot decide which position they're going to go for. But look at the KTM of Concalves as he comes right into play. Now Pocamandi is the sandwich between this Porsche and KTM. He doesn't just... Oh, Samuel getting all kinds of oversteer on power there. This is going to be side by side. It looks like Pocamandi's made that happen. Maybe not. But Concalves is just looking to pick up any pieces that's made here. Can Sam get a good drive out of the exit? Both these cars benefiting from some tow down the back, and Concalves says he's looking for that position to take, and he's going for the outside, round the outside. Samuel just got enough room to make sure that didn't happen, but again up the inside, Concalves, can he make this happen? A little bit of door banging going on there. KTM looked like he bogged down a little bit, but he has got past at the moment. Samuel tucks right in onto the back. He's not even thinking about that position that he's just lost. He's looking at how he can get that position back. Pit window is now open. There's 10 minutes for them to make a pit stop, and there's a big slide from both Concalves and from Samuel Brackstad. I don't know if there's slightly dirty air coming off that KTM or if Samuel just kind of followed Concalves at the same time. Every other fight is kind of, and we see Samuel into the pits already. Sam, the first one in to the pits. Sam has blinked first. There's just over 26 minutes left, so this literally is almost halfway. So let's have a look. Concalves right in the back of Pocamandi. So again, Pocamandi maybe thinking Samuel going into the pits was a good idea, but he now has a KTM, an orange KTM behind him, looking to take that position, as well as we see Finlay O'Reilly in P10 coming into the pits as well. Not quite able to make it happen at the moment. Bjorkman, let's see if Bjorkman goes into the pits, or is he staying out for a little bit longer? The pit entrance for here is a little bit tight. It's almost, he doesn't take it this time. What about Luke Wilson? Luke stays out as well. Naheem is 12 seconds behind, but he's 10 seconds ahead of Kieran Macy. That spin has unfortunately cost Kieran at the moment anyway, any opportunity of that. Are either of these going to blink, or either of these going in? I thought Pokemandi, yeah, Pokemandi is going in. Just a slightly different line there. That releases Concalves in P6. Can he try and do a couple of qualifying laps to make these pit stops count? I'm not sure about the undercut and overcut, how effective it is on Misano on the GT2s. Pokemandi into the pits. It looks like Bjorkman's maybe got past. Is that O'Reilly's got past? Or last, maybe? It is O'Reilly. O'Reilly being lapped in P9 at the moment. Does Robert Bjorkman come in now? He has got 5 seconds more of a success penalty to deal with than Wilson. Look, Wilson has done an absolute sterling job keeping within, and he doesn't. He stays out. Does Luke Wilson also stay out? Yes, he does. He's just keeping within 2.8 seconds. Luke technically doesn't really need to pass him. If he gets his pit stop strategy right, Luke Wilson could very well get past Bjorkman in the pits. As you can see, one of the Audis coming out. Oh, he needs to get out of the way as soon as he can. You see the lights getting flashed there. Oh! So that was last who had came in and came back. He's got to stop, go 30. Oh, he's been speeding in the pit lane. Oh, that's the last thing a driver wants to see come up on their screen. Top 6 still to pit. So let's keep an eye on Bjorkman and just see if he does pit this lap. He's still got 5 minutes left. Does he go? No, he doesn't. He is leaving this to the very last minute. Luke Wilson stays out as well. Ideally, Luke wants to pit at the same time Bjorkman does. He's still within that 5 second. He's 3.2 seconds behind, but he's still within that 5 second safety net that he's got. So he just needs to try and keep Bjorkman within that 5 seconds. They'll have, let me think, what are they doing, 135, 136s? They've probably got about 2-3 laps left before that pit window closes, so it is going to have to be a do or die, and last comes into service, stop go. Hopefully he doesn't speed in the pits this time. Naheem and Pikiri into the pits also. Promotes Concalves up to P4, still to pit as well, as does Kieran Macy. Naheem has pitted and is back out on track. So has Kieran Macy done enough qualifying laps to try and gain some of that 9 second deficit that he's got? Oh, Concalves going very, very deep on the brakes there as he goes into the sweeping left hand off the straight. I really should learn all of these track corner names. And again, he goes very, very deep on the brakes. I don't know if he's suffering from brake failure or is he suffering from tyres. I don't know, but there's certainly something going on. So top 4 are the only ones left to pit with just over 3 minutes left on the clock for the pit window. Surely, is Bjorkman going to go this time? The thing is, Luke Wilson has a great reaction gap to decide if he's going to pit at the same time as Bjorkman, or will he go for one last lap. Bjorkman's not holding him back, Bjorkman's not anywhere near him to be causing him issues in terms of aerodynamic wind or heat off the back of the Maserati, so I can't see, in my own personal opinion, that Luke Wilson would gain anything from staying out. I think just bide your time. He's back down to 2.8 seconds again of a gap. He's just maintaining that gap because he knows he's got that 5-second cushion. So this time, with 2.5 minutes left of the pit window, Concalves into the pits now as well. That leaves Kieran Macy, Luke Wilson and Bjorkman the only three to pit. Is Bjorkman leaving this one to the very last? It would be touch and go. I mean, they would do it with maybe 30 seconds to spare, but no, he is into the pits this time. What happens with Luke Wilson? Luke Wilson stays out. That's an interesting decision. I hope it pays off for him. As you can see, Luke Wilson now taking P1. And you can see Concalves just coming back out of the pits, having finished his. So no further penalties for last, so hopefully he's sorted out. I don't know if maybe he had an issue with his pit limiter button. Samuel Brackstad, P9 at the moment, on the back of Pikiri, looking to try and capitalise, as Pikiri's getting things a little bit wide, a little bit loose on the corners. Samuel, a great master at watching people to then, as he just flashes that huge mouthed pink Porsche in the mirrors of the Maserati, just reminding Pikiri that he's there and he's ready to pounce again. So Samuel looks like he's playing a patient game at the moment. Let's see, Luke has to come in this lap. He's no option now to come into this lap. Bjorkman just going to exit now of the pits, and he is out. Now this will be, I think this will be tight when Wilson comes out of the pits. We're going to keep an eye on Wilson and Bjorkman as they come round the lap. Now, where is Bjorkman? Bjorkman's onto the second straight. Before this looping left-hander. He has got past Ches in the KTM. So confirmed Luke Wilson is in. Now, let's see. I'm going to see if I can find out the time lap, the pit stop time. So Luke Wilson just in time. I did say it was going to be about... yeah, so Bjorkman was 1 minute and 2 seconds. Obviously he had 15 seconds added onto that. Looks like Kieran Macy and Naheem 48 seconds and 50 seconds in the pits. Total time stop was 6 seconds and 8 seconds respectively. So they were literally splash and dash. It looks like Luke Wilson has done the same. Now where is Bjorkman when Wilson is coming out? Bjorkman on the start finish straight as he takes this first right hander. Luke Wilson will be feeling that is the longest pit straight in the world. And in fact there's nothing straight about it, but look, there we go. He is actually going to lose quite a lot of time. I wonder why that's happened. Wilson was 4 seconds longer stopped in the pits in total. That's really, unfortunately, disappointing for Luke Wilson. That's not played out the way I think he would have hoped. I genuinely thought it was going to be a lot closer. Let me know in the comments, would you have pitted the same time Bjorkman did? 7 seconds between Luke Wilson and Bjorkman. So that is confirmed that that somehow Wilson has lost 4 seconds in the pits. But if you then take 5 seconds that Wilson had over Bjorkman, technically he's actually lost 9 seconds somewhere. within the pits. So I don't know if he struggled on the one lap he had when Bjorkman pitted. Remember to smash that like button if you're on YouTube, and hit that follow button if you're on Twitch. We are going to be live tomorrow night with TOGA Motorsport's Rookie Season 8 Split 1 Race 2. That's quite a mouthful. Wednesday will be Split 2 Race 2 for the rookies. We actually have a day off on the Thursday, and Friday we have the World Tour, GT3 World Tour, or sorry, the GT World Tour. Now I don't know if that is, let me have a little look and see. It's a penultimate round of the World Tour Season 1, and then Saturday, Sunday we are off. So a packed week really for motorsports. The rookies have really shown a lot of different sides to them in the first race at Red Bull Ring. If you haven't watched it, then please go and have a look under our live tab on our page on YouTube, and you'll see it there to be able to watch both Split 1 and Split 2. As you can see, Samuel Brakstad trying to just do something here, but Pikiri has caught onto Finlay O'Reilly, who's now being outbraked into the apex. Almost 3 wide as the exit there, but it looks like Finlay O'Reilly has lost that position to Pikiri. Oh! Samuel very, very quick to react there, to almost having to move out the way, but he has also, looks like he is going to get past. That Audi is actually very, very quick. Look, it's gained almost a full car length back on that straight. So Samuel underpowered with the Porsche slightly, and again Finlay doing a great job of giving enough room to Samuel but not too much room. But unfortunately he has lost 2 positions within 2 sectors. So Finlay O'Reilly going from P7 to P9, Pikiri now up into P7. Brakstad 1.2 seconds behind. Can Brakstad make that position back up? O'Reilly, I think, is basically going to watch Samuel disappear into the distance, unfortunately. But he very, very good racing from all 3 drivers, really, to give each other enough room, enough respect that there was no issues. The Audi looks as if Finlay struggling a little bit, maybe with brakes or tyres, but certainly going very wide into the double right-handers as they get onto the straight. So we'll keep an eye on this, because Brakstad's only 1.3 seconds behind, and you can see he's actually catching the gap between Bjorkman and Wilson, still 7 seconds. So Luke Wilson not able to gain anything or catch from there. Naheem 6.5 seconds behind Wilson. Macy 5.5 seconds behind. Pokamandi 28 seconds behind in P5. Concal's 13.5 seconds behind in P6. Looks like slowly but surely Brakstad is chipping away at that gap, down to 1.2 seconds at the moment. In fact, it's now down to 9/10 of a second. So he is catching Pikiri. Let's see how they get on as they go through, which line it is taken. Samuel able to carry so much more speed into turn 1 which then gives him an advantage, a short advantage into turn 2 as well. That yeah, that got back up to 1 second now, so possibly the Maserati just has enough torque and power just to keep ahead of the Porsche. See how Samuel does on the straight here. He has cut it back down to 6/10. Not close enough to get any advantage from any aerodynamic draft. I'm just going to have a quick look. Obviously we have one more race to go next Monday for the FGTRL community. So Kieran Macy is 3rd in the championship. Naheem is 4th. Now there's 50 points between them at the moment, which will actually be quite interesting. Let me just have a look and see. So there's only 20 points of a difference, so it's not going to change position between Macy and Naheem for this race, but it will bring things a little bit closer for the last race. That is a beautiful livery of Brackstad. Brought the gap back down to 9/10, but I would just wonder if the Porsche's tyres are done. None of these drivers have changed tyres by the looks of it, or certainly not the top 5 or 6 anyway, have changed tyres. It's all been splash and dash by the looks of it. Certainly for 2 of them, there was 6 seconds and 8 seconds. That's certainly not enough time to do anything else apart from put a couple of litres of fuel in. Luke Wilson managed to get the gap down almost to 6.5 seconds, but it's slowly creeping up again. They're all kind of staying stationary now, so it looks like they've kind of found a rhythm and settled into it. You can see Samuel again gaining a little bit of time as he manages to get through there faster. Goncalves has changed tyres. Yeah, it's I still don't know where Luke Wilson's lost 9 seconds. Like that, it blows my mind. 34-second pit stop, that would make sense then, Charlie. Excuse me. Samuel back down to 6/10 now. Flames coming out the back of the Porsche as he's downshifting. Still just not enough to get near for that draft that he needs. Oh, wait a minute. It's gone cut. Oh, no. Goncalves into the dirt. Spins round, holds his brakes because he sees Brackstad coming through, and then unfortunately absolutely cooks it again. His tyres must be absolutely obliterated by now. That does promote Bakiri Brackstad up to P6 and P7 respectively. Goncalves with the newer, fresher tyres just looks like it's fallen off for him. That would explain it. Yeah. So there was a 4 seconds, but there was 5 second. Luke had 5 seconds less of a success penalty as well. So I think he must have lost that in the track somewhere, because he stayed out for a lot longer than Robert did. So the positions we have at the moment, with a 5 second gap, Robert Bjorkman in P1, Luke Wilson following him behind in P2, Naheem 8.5 seconds up the road in P3, Kieran Messi P4 with 19.5 seconds of a gap, Pocamandi 20 seconds behind in P5, Pikiri 13.5 seconds in P6, Samuel Brackstad 8 tenths behind Pikiri, Goncalves 14 seconds behind in P8, Ches over a minute behind in P9, Last just over a second behind Ches in P10, and Finlay O'Reilly unfortunately down in P11, 12.5 second gap. Bjorkman still holding the fastest lap with a 134.8. He is the only person who has dipped into the 134s off of the entire grid. Luke Wilson was 6 tenths off with his quickest lap. All Pikiri needs to do is just keep driving the way he is. He's got 4 minutes left of this race, which equates to, I'll do my maths right, 3 laps? Oh no, oh. Pikiri going very, very wide there. That has absolutely swallowed any time that he had between himself and Samuel. What is he going to do here? Is this going to be neater and tidier, or is he... Yeah, it looks like he's got it hooked up for the apexes. Maybe just a slight distraction, or maybe tyres, but that's absolutely given Samuel Brackstad fire in his belly. He knows that position for P6 is right there, just in front of that Maserati. He just needs to do something. Now remember, Samuel is quicker into turn 1, where he's able to get more speed carried into it than the Maserati, and again, so close. Samuel needs to avoid any oversteer. He needs to try and keep that car pointing forward, but you can see the Maserati, the power of Maserati is mighty. It's not to be underestimated as they come through the second of the right-handers. Then left-hander, you basically almost cut the corner onto the straight to give yourself the best drive you can. And yeah, the Maserati has got the it's got the length on the Porsche at the moment, so it is going to have to come down to a brave move on braking, or yeah, that's about the only thing he could do. I was trying to think of any other. Oh, and he's went wide again. Samuel Brackstad through. Oh, Samuel with so much oversteer, swapping places again. I don't know if Samuel just got a little bit excited there as he came through, but he hit that loud pedal as if it was one of these things at a circus where you hit it with a hammer, and you can see him getting very wide there again. Again, the Porsche so much better in the corner. 1.5 minutes left. Just going to see where the leader is. Leader's just crossing the line, so there's going to be one more lap, possibly 2, left in this race. Samuel really has got to do something, and if he can keep with Kevin Pikiri for until they reach the same corner again, would it be three laps in a row that Kevin Pikiri outbreaks himself, or the car's not settled? But it's certainly some kind of issue that's going on. He seems to be finding every other corner but Samuel really close now. Yep, so the leader is on the final lap. This is the final lap. Sam has only got a handful of corners left. Kevin Picchieri knows that. All he has to do is keep that Maserati clean, keep it on the line. This is where he had the issue before. Slight right-hander, and then you're heavy on the brakes. No issues this time for Kevin. He's learned his lesson after the 2 previous laps. But he does get a bit of oversteer on power there. Not enough to give any issues to cause Samuel to get past him. So he just needs these handful of corners. In fact, sorry, these will have... Yeah, so these will have one more lap to go. Because the leader's not over the start-finish line. Oh, Samuel's so close there. Yeah, so they're going to have one more lap after this. Again, Samuel knows he's got a better entrance. You can see everything is going in that Porsche. And again, look how close that is. Now we know Samuel doesn't do big sends, he doesn't do stupid moves, but he's going to have to be brave if he wants this P6 position. Now, our back markers, it looks like Ches that's ahead of him. Is Ches going to be an issue? Ches is normally quite a safe driver. He's got a nice long straight here. Unfortunately, Bjorkman has actually finished, and we're still busy looking here. And interesting. Samuel Brackstad has played an absolute blinder. Look at this. Ches, who's not interfering in any way, shape and form, but was Picchieri... I think Picchieri was distracted with Ches and somehow ended up losing position to Samuel Brackstad. Samuel Brackstad... Oh! Has he run out of fuel? Picchieri. I think Picchieri's run out of fuel. Wow. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, but Samuel Brackstad, I think, earns driver of the day. I absolutely do. He went into the pocket of Picchieri whilst Ches was distracting him and took P6. There you go. Well done, Samuel. I cannot believe that. So, poor Picchieri isn't even going to finish. Wow. That's heartbreaking. He ran out of fuel with 4 corners left. Wow. I really feel sorry for Kevin Picchieri there. That's painful to watch. Let me quickly run through the grid. Robert Bjorkman in P1 with that finish. Excuse me. Luke Wilson P2, Naheem P3, Kevin Macy P4, Pocamandi P5, Samuel Brackstad P6, Picchieri, I think he ended up 7th or 8th. Goncalves, they're all now going. Last, O'Reilly and Ches to make that up. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight's race in a beautifully hot, probably quite humid Italy for Misano. And next week we will be back at the same time. Qualifying starts at 18:50 British Summer Time for the last race at the Red Bull Ring, which will be absolutely amazing. So this has been a TOGA Motorsport production for FGTRL, which is Formula GT Racing League. Thank you so much. Thank you to Charlie, who owns the community and runs it amazingly. And we will see you tomorrow night for race 2 of split 1 of Rookies Season 8. Until then, take care, enjoy what is left of your evening, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.